Spider-Man: Beyond the Spider-Verse just got a solid theater update that actually made fans smile. Executive producer Chris Miller confirmed the movie will be the first of the trilogy to get a true IMAX release. The first two films played in IMAX theaters, but they used the standard widescreen aspect ratio. Now, the final chapter will be formatted for IMAX the right way, which makes the whole event feel bigger and more theatrical. After Across became a massive hit, Sony is clearly betting big on the trilogy and even pushed the release back to give the team more time. Since Beyond closes the trilogy, it makes sense they didn't rush it. The IMAX treatment could help it stand out, and maybe even beat the sequel at the box office. Plot-wise, things are mostly straightforward if you read the signs. The first official images already give away a lot. The opening will probably pick up directly from Across, where Miles ends up on Earth 42 and runs into another Miles, a rough, drifter version of himself, basically a prowler in that reality. They get into a fight, of course, and then form an uneasy alliance. Don't expect the drifter to instantly switch to team player mode for the sake of saving the multiverse. Their dynamic will feel more competitive at first, with grudging respect developing over time. The real stakes are bigger than two rival Miles. There's a growing reality shrinking phenomenon, a collapse that's getting dangerously strong and threatening multiple realities. That's the true problem they eventually have to face together. Producers and writers have stayed quiet about the exact role of the Prowler, but deleted scenes from Across hint he's not a straight villain. He's more of a vigilante, shaped by a brutal world where Spider-Man never existed. A grim New York ruled by a criminal cartel known in that reality as the Sinister Cartel. That city looks like a rainy, dark Gotham, a place where hope was stripped away and survival hardened him into someone who does what he must to protect people. Crucially, Earth 42 didn't vanish after the Collider incident. The reality survived, even with its consequences and the absence of a Spider-Man. That undermines some of Miguel O'Hara's assumptions about how the Spider-Verse works, and it opens the door for deeper, messier consequences as Beyond aims to wrap everything up. Every storyline that started way back into the Spider-Verse will come full circle in Beyond. It's all leading to one massive finale where everything connects. And yeah, there's no way Phil Lord and Chris Miller are walking away from Sony anytime soon. This franchise has become one of the most beloved and groundbreaking animated series ever, winning over both kids and adults alike. It completely flipped the animation industry on its head. Now, half the studios out there trying to copy that signature Spider-Verse look. Even Sony set an almost impossible standard for themselves with the first film. The movie was originally planned for release this year, but now it's been pushed to 2027, mainly because of the animation process. A lot of animators actually left the project during production on Across after the heavy crunch and behind-the-scenes controversy. Despite all that, the team is back on track, and the delay is paying off. Animation takes time, way more than live action. You can't just reshoot scenes or patch things together. Sometimes 5 minutes of footage can take months to perfect. And for a movie like Spider-Verse, the quality has to stay sky high. Beyond isn't just another sequel. It's meant to break every rule of animation again. Fans are convinced the movie will unite spider people from across the entire multiverse, and that makes total sense. Into the Spider-Verse technically introduced the multiverse, but at its core, it was still Miles' story, his origin, his coming of age. They cleverly tied his personal journey to the multiverse concept, making it one of the best retcons in modern comic adaptations. Even the reimagining of Miguel's story worked perfectly within that new logic. But the multiverse is infinite, and we've only seen a tiny fraction of it. Rumors suggest that Lord and Miller plan to explore darker worlds this time, one of them possibly inspired by Tim Burton's Gothic style. There's talk of a medieval universe, set somewhere around the 1400s, where a Spider Knight once existed. Whether that actually shows up or not, the heart of the story will still center on Miles, his fight against the Spot, his mission to save his father without destroying the entire multiverse in the process. One of the biggest unresolved threads from the previous films is the fact that Miles himself is technically an anomaly. By Miguel's logic, Miles was never supposed to be Spider-Man in the first place, and that storyline is clearly going to keep developing and beyond. Naturally, it's obvious that Miles will fight to save his father. Jefferson Davis isn't supposed to die, and it's hard to imagine the multiverse collapsing completely. But how they'll stop the Spot, that's the real mystery. We've already seen how absurdly powerful he's become. He literally jumped into the live-action Venom universe like it was nothing. At this point, he can travel across dimensions freely, slipping through portals and escaping anywhere he wants. You can't beat someone like that in a normal fight. The only way to stop him might be with some kind of device or multiversal failsafe, maybe even another collider from a different reality. There's also a chance the movie will introduce a hidden mechanism within the Spider-Verse itself, something designed to protect the web of realities once the Spot's chaos reaches its peak. According to some insiders, the film's midpoint will feature one of the most ambitious animated sequences ever made. Months of work went into it. The scene will reportedly show the Spot opening dozens of portals to different universes, pulling in villain variants from across the Spider-Verse. We're talking about an all-out dimensional war. He could summon versions of the Sinister Six from classic worlds, or even bring in characters like the Insomniac version of Venom. Anything's possible in this movie. There are no limits. They could even throw in live-action cameos. Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, why not? It would be wild, but still totally within this series' logic. That's the thing about Beyond. Sony can literally do whatever they want here. And it probably won't be a hard ending either. It'll close the trilogy, sure, but it's bound to leave room for more. One of those endings with a ... not a full stop. Something that lets them continue the story later. Maybe through a live-action Miles Morales movie that kicks off a new Spider-Man universe under Sony's banner. It just makes too much sense. Still, the scale of this story is huge, and it's hard not to wonder if they can tie up everything in one film. Chances are, Beyond the Spider-Verse won't waste a single minute. No filler, no slow build, no meaningless chatter. It's going to start strong, right in the chaos, with the Spot as the terrifying force threatening all existence. And of course, the Spider Society, including Miguel O'Hara himself, will end up joining forces with Miles. It's hard to imagine Sony turning Spider-Man 2099 into a straight-up villain. More likely, Miguel will realize he was wrong, that his calculations were flawed, and that the real danger isn't Miles, it's the Spot. This movie is shaping up to be one of the biggest releases of 2027. That year is already packed with huge titles, but Beyond the Spider-Verse has something special. Enormous hype, sky-high expectations, and one of the strongest cliffhangers in recent memory. What's also exciting is how Beyond could evolve the visual language of the entire trilogy. Each movie so far has redefined what animation can do, and this one is expected to push things even further. The art direction will likely blend multiple styles at once. Hand-drawn elements, experimental frame rates, and painterly effects unique to each dimension. We might see universes colliding not just through story, but through the way they're animated, with entire scenes shifting tone and texture mid-battle. It's a kind of creative chaos only Lord and Miller would dare to pull off. Add to that Daniel Pemberton's intense emotional score, and you can already imagine how explosive those final moments will feel. The sound, the color, the scale, if they stick the landing, Beyond the Spider-Verse won't just end a trilogy. It'll stand as one of the defining animated events of the decade.